I think you'll find this academy one of the most comprehensive in the country.
Moved you for not going along with whatever the tech narrative is? Because tech clearly has a censorship agenda when it comes to COVID, in terms of treatment, in terms of whether or not you're promoting what they would call vaccine hesitancy. They can ban you for that. They can ban you for, in their eyes, what they think is a justifiable offense.
Made a quick interpretation, using no other evidence, that the materials in the article were obtained through hacking, and according to our policy, we blocked them from being spread. Upon further consideration, we admitted this action was wrong.
And they're doing this, and I don't know who these people are that are doing this, but they're doing this. One of the most important things about you reading out your history like that is to one of the most qualified people in the world to talk about vaccines.
Well, thank you for that. I think that's so. One way that some people put it is, and of course, since this has happened, I've been contacted by multiple lawyers that are looking at filing a suit, just like Alex Berenson has one against Twitter. And the point is made just what you just made. So the point that I think is kind of succinct on this is, if my voice, if there's no merit to my voice being in the conversation, whether it's true or not, whether I'm factually correct or not, let's park that just for a minute. Whether or not I'm right in everything I say, and I freely admit no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. That's one of my core points, is people should think for themselves. And I try really hard to give people the information and help them to think, not to tell them what to think. Okay? But the point is, if it's not okay for me to be part of the conversation, even though I'm pointing out scientific facts that may be inconvenient, then who can be allowed?
Trust in the media, it seems the US is falling way behind. There's also been a sharp fall in the number of viewers and readers, according to a study by Britain's Oxford University. I'll tell you more. The annual poll of almost 100,000 people covers news consumption in 46 markets around the globe. It also now includes India, Indonesia, Nigeria and Colombia for the first time. And the US, you may be surprised or not to know, has the lowest levels of trust of any country surveyed at 29%.
And whether you're in the camp that says I'm a liar and I didn't invent this technology despite the patents.
We talked about how George Soros and others like him were spending tens of millions of dollars to fund the campaigns of so-called rogue prosecutors. They're the ones who usurp the constitutional role of the legislative branch by refusing to prosecute entire categories of crime, abuse the role of the county prosecutor, fail to protect victims of crime, and ignore rising crime rates caused by their radical policies.
And there's a whole cohort of that. No one can dispute that I played a major role in the creation of this tech, and virtually all other voices that have that background have conflicts of interest, financial conflicts of interest. I think I'm the only one that doesn't. I'm not getting any money out of this.
And need solutions to it.
Let us look at this slide for a moment, without comment.
America is the greatest country in the world.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
Welcome to Fill in the Blanks. You're in isolation right now. How's that working for you? Because I want to talk about some mental disorders, some mental illnesses.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Pradesh, as you know, has crushed COVID.
Yeah, could you explain what they did to do that? Because it's kind of fascinating.
It's not clear. What are the drugs? So what they did do, what we do know, and there's some backstory to this that we could go into if you want to, but the observation is there was a decision made. The virus was just ripping through Uttar Pradesh. It has almost the same population as the United States. It's huge, okay? Dense, urban, poor, all the characteristics of the stereotypes of the Indian countryside. and the virus was just ripping through there and causing all kinds of death and disease. And the decision was made out of desperation in that province to deploy early treatments as packages widely throughout the province. And it included a number of agents. The composition has not been formally disclosed. It was done in coordination with WHO, and whatever was in those packages was rumored to include ivermectin, but there was a specific visit of Biden to Modi, and a decision was made in the Indian government not to disclose the contents of those packages that were being deployed in Uttar Pradesh, which they're still there. And Uttar Pradesh is flatlined right now. The rest of the world is yelling about Omicron and hospitalizations. Well, South Africa isn't. But Uttar Pradesh is still flatlined in terms of deaths.
So they were visited by someone in the Biden administration? Is that what you're saying?
No, there's a meeting between Joe Biden and Modi.
And you believe that out of that meeting, they decided?
I don't know what they said. Wasn't invited. All I know is that immediately afterwards, there was a decision not to disclose the contents of what was being deployed in Uttar Pradesh.
It's so crazy to imagine that in the middle of a pandemic, there's one place, one area of India that's extremely successful in combating the virus, and they're not going to say how they did it. I mean, that's nuts.
So that's where I kind of, my stance in all of this is to say, here are the facts, here are the verifiable data, draw your own conclusion.
I think you'll find this academy one of the most comprehensive in the country.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.